Yo, what is going on? And welcome to your normal Tuesday touchdown. Got my guys in the building with me to break down this game and break down all the happenings of the Bills. My man James Mallory, the stalemate here.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
And of course, you guys know that man with the long dreads. As you watch the Bills interviews, you'll see it pop up every week. Our man Muki Hawkins, Bills beat reporter, Wolf on 1080. Mooks, what's up?
What's good with you guys?
Man, we ready to talk some Bills, man. Everybody in a lot better mood this week. Hopefully, the bad takes is not as ugly as it was last week because they were some very mean people last week. Talking about Kumaro and COVID and all type of thing.
But Kumaro got anything to do with it, boy. They was boy.
Yeah. What Kumaro do to nobody? You know, Kumaro ain't did nothing to nobody, man. So this week we actually did a little something different with the bad takes. So this is the first week that I actually went looking for Jets bad takes, so opponents bad takes. So we're gonna play a couple of those because I had to go see if fans were just angry as ours when their team lost, even though they only won like 2 games. They got a reason to be mad. It's just that. But hey, welcome to the show. This is it's nothing personal, just Bills, hosted by myself, JTM, and the Bills crushed the Jets this week. Told them boys up. Dropped the 40-piece McNugget on them. Oh, I put 45-17. It wasn't no 45-17. It was 45-7, right? No, what 45-17?
No. You thinking about the Patriots and the Browns?
Oh yeah, that was ugly. I don't hear nothing else about Baker Mayfield, man. I don't want to hear nothing else about Baker.
Man, they don't stop that with that, man. You know Josh way better than Baker Mayfield. I don't know what these people talking about.
Josh Allen will be the number 1 pick in that draft if they redid it.
Yeah, he would. And then Lamar would be second, or they'd be 1 and 2 for sure. Just take your pick. It'd be either of those two.
Yeah,
Sure.
The first 2 get knocked out of the first round completely, probably. But that's neither here or there. The Bills had a rebound game. You know, last week that they dropped that huge egg to the Jags, but this week we rebounded against the Jets. Josh Allen thrown for over 300 yards. Only rushing the ball 2 times, I'd say. Very efficient, 21-28. Dawson Knox got back into the swing of things, although he almost got Dawson killed in that goal line flip. He was almost injured again because I thought Dawson was getting taken off. But there's a couple of things that we asked for last week. The one statement I think I made last week, and you guys agree with, was if it's going to be a true committee, we need to activate 3 running backs. This week, we did that. The offensive line looked better. We got Spencer Brown back. The defense did their thing. So we got a couple questions tonight. We're gonna talk about Tyler Bass a little bit. I'm gonna talk about the secondary and dare to ask the question: is this secondary the best secondary in NFL? And we're gonna talk about Stephon Diggs. As Mook said last week, you gotta get Diggs the ball often and early to the tune of 168 yards. We did that. So let's hop right into it, man. Mook, I'm gonna come to you first tonight because I just led into you, so it makes sense. Stephon Diggs got the ball.
Yeah, man. I mean, what are we doing? Like, that's like me recruiting James now. I try to recruit James, and I just couldn't. You know what I mean? That's just the vets. It's just born as vets, his family, his tradition. I get it. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, if I was to get a guy like James Mallory, a la Stephon Diggs, he's getting the ball. He's the first guy that's touching the rock. Everybody knows he's getting it. I don't care. It's my job to make sure he gets it so James could be James. So let Steph be Steph. Like, what are we doing in these games? We're throwing our back little 6-yard hitches and swing passes on first down. Just run a damn slant with your star wide receiver. If teams are going to play you, if you're forced to pass and they're playing under, okay, we'll throw it under to your star receiver. Stop running your star receiver up the field, and then you got to rely on Beasley and the 3rd and 4th option. Like, I don't have no understanding to that. Get your playmakers involved. You see what happened. And, they showed you basically of a team that looked like last year's team. When they did get the ball to Stephon Diggs early and often, they didn't care. They were still force feeding him the ball. But, I mean, yeah, look at Josh's numbers. That's the telltale of it all. The defense is as advertised. They are consistent at what they do. Now, if the offense can just do what they did against the Jets, if they're good enough, they're going to do it against Indy. The narrative this year is that, okay, yeah, the Bills only beat X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? and especially with that loss to Jacksonville, no matter what they do, is always going to say, hey, but y'all lost to Jacksonville. You know what I mean? But they got to win the Super Bowl to get that off. But some people still might say that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you got to get your playmakers the ball early and often, man. You paying them all this money, you know? So what are we doing?
Okay. James, Steph Finesse. That's Muki calling. Got the ball. Matter of fact, to the tune of Josh's 28 passes, 13 targets to Diggs.
I love it. Muki, man, he said it perfectly, man. You got to get him the ball no matter what, man. Stephon Diggs is that guy. So what you gonna do? Get him the ball. I don't care if it's a bubble screen. I don't care if it's a quick slant, a quick out, whatever the case may be. Get that man the ball. He's the engine on that offense, man. Once he's going, that offense looks completely different. And everybody knows that. And like Muki said, who cares? Everybody knows he's going to get the ball first. Get him the ball. Let him do what he do. Not too many people in the league can line up with him and say, okay, you're not getting anything today. I mean, I love what they did. 160 plus yards. Then, when he's going, the offense it's the rhythm. It has a rhythm. It looks like it has rhythm. Everybody's just flowing. So, we gotta keep that going, Dable. If you're listening, doubt you are, but hey, man, we got to keep that going, Brian Dable, man. We got to keep getting Stephon Diggs the ball. And we do, good things usually happen. So get that man the ball.
I'm not too sure they ain't watching, man. A lot of things we said last week, they will, and then writing them notes in crayons, man.
He might be asleep right now. He might be asleep.
It's late in the night. He ain't got nothing to do but sit up here and just learn. Go on, study from us, man. We got this under control. Let's take some comments here. Mark Wozniak, what's going on, man? He says 17. The Browns are so overrated. He said the Martini Jackson says crushed them good. Our guy Mike Backbone 5 on YouTube says Spencer Brown is our franchise right tackle. You never know. It could switch over to the left. You never know. Keep that in mind. Jamie Sergeant Clark says we also saw Gabe Davis, which she did ask for last week. She most definitely did, to the tune of 3 catches for 105 yards. Gabe just have these random games. It just be random. Don't get me wrong, he gets random sporadic playing time too. Mook, I know you got something on that.
Well, you got to look at it. When you really got to look at it. Let's look at last year. What worked last year? Why we go away from that? Yeah, I don't understand that. Why all of a sudden what changed to where Gabe Davis ain't out there how he was last year? Emmanuel Sanders? Remember, John Brown was out there. So yeah. I don't understand what changed to where he's just not getting the football. You see what happens when y'all take a play script out of last year's book. They look like last year's offense. You know what I mean? It looked like last year's offense. And guess what? The run game got going, even though they still got limited carries, but they was more effective because on how he used them. Run play action. You gotta if do anything. If teams are not going to respect our run, at least they're going to buy in some time in our pass game by faking it to the damn running back. It's just you look. I couldn't count how many times they they did play fakes and got big gains in the air. Because of that. Don't get me wrong. The Jets, they're going to play. They're going to play up in your face. They're going to play man. They're going to try to play a certain similar to what Miami does. But enough was enough. You got to go with your dog because ain't nobody from the Jets can check Stephon Diggs one-on-one. That was quite evident when, they took the touchdown away from him. And all right, let's get out your same play. That's some cocky shit. You know what I'm saying? I did that a few times today. And James been on sidelines where that shit's been happening to him too. So that I don't care what level you on. That's some cocky shit. To sit up there, you score a touchdown and they call it back right. Run it again. You know what I mean? I get disrespectul like that, James. If I was an NFL coach, I'd do is run it again. Man, he did it again, and they got the touchdown that time. So I like that cockiness in our offense. We need to play like that. Create those mismatches and go after them. What are we waiting on? You know what I mean? We waiting to get Stephon Diggs the ball in the second quarter because they know that we're going to give them the ball. We don't run the ball. Hello, newsflash. So who in the hell are you passing to? You know what I mean? Early and often, you got to get him involved. You paying him what? $15 million? What are we doing?
Right. I don't know. I mean, I said we got it together this week. I was happy with it. I was actually happy to see that the creativity of getting Breida in the ball. I mean, we got so many people involved in the running game. I don't know. It felt like it was a record number of people getting involved in the running game this year. But I mean this game, but Emmanuel Sanders even got a carry. Isaiah McKenzie got a couple carries.
Man,
Devin, Breida, Josh only got 2. I mean that for us to say that, we're so used to seeing Josh on the stat sheet having 9, 10 carries. Boy, I mean, look at the spread. Devin 7, Breida 3, Zach 7, Emmanuel 1, McKenzie 2. Even David Webb, that's just 2 needs for David Webb. But I mean, that's a good spread. I still like to see us run it a little bit more, especially with a lead like that. But that's all right. We got Josh reset and correct.
Yeah, but when you got your foot on the gas, that's what's going to happen. You look at it. I mean, the Bills put up them same numbers combined damn near every week when you really look at it. You know what I mean? In the run game. The Bills put those type of numbers in their run game every week, but it's how they did it. You know what I mean? It's, they look at Breida, for instance. Breida probably had what? 6 touches, 3 catches, 3 rushes, 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's productive for the amount of touches he got. You know what I mean? Each back scored a touchdown. Singletary had 7 yards of crack. Then you got, they outside zone game was so perfect that it made holes open up for Zach and Singletary, whose runs that they normally would get, probably wouldn't have been there if they didn't stretch, the perimeter in the run game with Breida and McKenzie. Use your speed guys to get outside. You know that Zach Moss and Singletary doesn't have the necessary speed to turn the corner that way. But I did see my man Singletary fumble that toss, and I've been lobbying for him to get a sweep for years, and he sit up there, fumbled the sweep. The hole was so big, he fumbled forward and still got,
it was going to be a big play, Muki. That was about to be a big play.
Right.
When he caught that sweep. Oh man, he's seen it. He's about to put his foot in the grass. He's about to turn it up, man. That was about to be a huge play. I thought about you as soon as he got that sweep too.
James, you think he got too excited as a running back? Because
oh man, when you see an opportunity like that, they're limited for him. I mean, he don't carry the ball 15 times a game. So if you see it, man, it's like his eyes look like silver dollars. He probably, man, got a little jittery, man, and end up putting the ball on the ground, man. But he gonna get another opportunity, man. I like that dude. I think he a 1,200-yard back in this league. I really do.
Yeah, I keep saying that too. I really think he's effective. Like I said, I don't know if his future is gonna be here in Buffalo because, like I said, unless Brian Dable get up out of there, because I'm with you, James. I'm circling Brian Dable as the one who don't want to use our man Devin Singletary. So, but I mean, no, it was good to see all 3. Is the outside zone run? Is that something a concept we've been trying to run for the past 2 years, or because I haven't seen us run that concept a lot.
Yeah, I mean, last year when you look at it, we ran jet sweeps a lot because of that reason. We didn't have a speed element per se out of a running back, Zach Moss 4.6, Singletary 4.6. That's an average, starting running back in the NFL is running 4.4 is easy. And those 2 seconds, them 0.2 of a second is the major difference in the NFL. So and it shows. So, they got to use I think it was more or less Coach McDermott said, hey, I don't want to see Josh running the damn ball this week. Figure it out. Get the playmakers the ball. Use McKenzie more. I'm quite sure Coach McDermott had some suggestions on how this offense was going to go, but he's definitely let his coaches, period. But I can sense that he was probably a little bit more involved in offensive, scheme than anything probably in this whole tenure.
I can believe it. Like I said, man, coach ain't gonna play no game. James, I know you jumped out the seat with the outside zone concept. Now I know this is all you. This is your topic. What's up with the concept, man? Outside zone.
I like it, man. I like the outside zone concept. I don't know if Zach Moss is an outside zone concept type of guy. Devin Singletary absolutely is. I really like Devin Singletary's skill set with being able to run the outside zone because he's a very patient runner. And usually guys is very patient like that. They're very successful running that outside zone. But the thing about him is, like Muki said, he's a 4.6 dude. So therefore, he instead of taking it 20 yards, it's probably gonna be a 12 to 15-yard run for him. Or taking it to the house, it'd be a big gain instead of a long touchdown run because he's limited with that long speed. So, but I love his ability. Zach Moss more that inside zone guy, but that outside zone, I think they need to start utilizing that more with Devin Singletary. Like I said, I love his skill set. Muki's seen me play before. He reminds me of myself a lot, to be honest with you. And man, he's a baller. I think they need to get him the ball more.
It's like telling you, get yourself the ball. Put me in. Let me eat, coach. Let me eat, coach. I feel that. I mean, like I said, I'm cool with it. I mean, when I saw an outside zone, I said, oh, this reminds me a lot of the Colts with Joseph Adai and Edgerrin James. That Colts offensive line was solid. It was more of a pass. I thought it was just like Buffalo's offensive line. It was more of a pass blocking offensive line. It wasn't a great overpowering offensive line they had with Tariq Gillen and Jeff Saturday, those guys. But the outside zone concept worked, and they ran it enough where that was their bread and butter run play. They run that crap all game on you. Tom Moore and Peyton Manning run that all game on you. And they pick up 5-6 in the fourth quarter. Boom, they bust one.
Guess who else gonna run that all day?
New England?
Yes, sir. They don't care who their running back is. It could be my 90-year-old grandmother. They gonna give her a tall sweep, and she's gonna get at least 5 yards because they got that down to a science. So we're gonna be seeing them in a couple of weeks. I don't want to say they overrated, but it's gonna be a different team because a lot of guys opted out last year, so there's gonna be another true test. The Bills don't have a cake schedule, per se. This is the eye they storm these next 4, so we're definitely going to see, where these guys at in reference to can they be consistent up against some of the, tougher opponents in the league, rather than the Jets and the Dolphins of, whatever, But, it's not the Bills' fault. They got to play their schedule how they play it, But I think, they can't go backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go backwards. Like, I want to see the same thing that I saw this week. I don't want to see nothing different and things are not working. You know what I mean? If they're not working, how can we, get rid of that and go back to what's working? You know what I mean? That'd be my thing. Like, sometimes I think, Dable, he overcoaches a lot. And that's where you see the Bills struggle for no reason. You know what I mean? You see him struggle for no reason with all the weapons that he has. Cover 2 shell. I mean, I'll just be running everything underneath. Like, forget it. Like, this is what you're going to do. Okay, I'm going to move Stephon Diggs around. I'm going to run him in motion. I'm going to, hook the curl. I'm going to do some overloads. You got to overload the side. When teams are zoning you, you got to overload too. It's a numbers game. Okay, then we'll catch them up top. But put your peoples in position to make plays. And that's what Coach McDermott was talking about. He had to do a better job of putting your guys in position to make plays. And I think they did an awesome job of doing that and using all your weapons, using the Isaiah McKenzie. You finally getting Matt Breida out there. I mean, that sweep that he scored on him almost went untouched is like, damn, it was that easy? Why we ain't been running that? I mean, maybe because Spencer Brown was hurt, we can't run those type of plays with, who else? Feliciano, we can't run those type of plays. Right. You look at that play that sprung home Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown looking like an all-pro right now, all-pro rookie right now. Yeah. So that stuff we need to see that continue. Bills fans want to see that continue. We can't put up 45 points and then we get to Indy and then we scared to go at Indy. I want to see that aggression the same way how they went after the Jets. I mean? I want to see them go at Indy the same exact way. I want to see them go at every team like that. Because they are like that. Your offense is like that. You just proved that there was. I don't care if it's the Jets, Tampa Bay, whoever. You have the firepower. You have the weapons to do it. Act like it. Go do it. Get it done. Stop stalling, inside the 20. You know what I mean? Like, stop stalling. Stop struggling to get a first down because you can't get a yard. You can't be one of the top teams in this thing if you doing stuff like that. Little stuff. You losing ball games because of that.
Right.
Like, it ain't like a team just clear out dominated the Bills, even Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not a team that they just whooped the Bills' ass. You know, it was something that the Bills didn't do. You know, and they will be talking about they could be, you know, oh, the undefeated Josh Allen's an MVP. Then when you look at it, their numbers really ain't. Their numbers are kind of like the same from last year, but it was so
They are the
much.
same.
You know, it was so much. You know, it was just a different feel about it. You know what I mean? Now it's just because we expected,
Yep.
and I don't know if it's the pressure or whatever. I'm over it. You know what I mean? Saturday just proved that. So don't do it because you mad and people got on you. Do it because it's your job. And I mean, if it's that damn easy, let it be that easy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I think I think you're exactly right. Like I said, I think I'd rather my team have 3 good running plays that they execute at all times than to a playbook of 30 that they can't execute one of them.
Right.
I'm sorry, run the same thing over and over and over, man, if you got to, and execute it properly every time. But that's enough of the Bills running on. I want to talk about Josh Allen, as I like to call it, resetting and correcting this week. He looked more efficient. He took what the offense, what the defense gave him. He targeted Stephon Diggs. He looked like he's back on track. And like Mook said, man, his numbers look pretty much the same as they did last year up until this time. James, quickly on Josh Allen, then we're gonna go to the Eric Moulds snippet, and we'll get some bad takes.
He just looked a lot more comfortable. What I think, the previous 2 games, it kind of looked like they're trying to put Josh Allen in a bottle, his emotions in a bottle. Hey, don't come out too excited, don't come out too pumped up, come out relaxed, come out chilled. You know when he get fired up, they call it that, the hero ball that he plays, or whatever the case may be. And it just looks like there's somebody the previous 2 games, it looks like somebody just was in his ear and just trying to get him to calm down and not be himself. What we need is Josh Allen to be himself. Yeah, you're gonna get the amped up Josh Allen who, sometimes he might make a crazy type of play because his emotions are through the roof. He's a very emotional football player. But I think that's the Josh Allen we need. We don't need the chilled, relaxed Josh Allen. We need the Josh Allen who's excited, he's fiery, he's getting after it. I think that's what we got against the Jets. And obviously you see, man, that dude balled out, man. He's a baller. Point blank period. That's the best way to describe Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a baller. I'm so happy that I wasn't the GM at the time because honestly, I would have took Josh Rosen over him. I was mad the Bills didn't take Josh Rosen. Boy, was I wrong, and I'm happy I was wrong because I definitely I'm excited about Josh Allen, man. This dude is a baller. That $258 million contract in 2 years going to look like a steal. Trust me.
And speaking on Josh, like myself, I have to be on the same boat with you. I was a Josh Rosen guy too. The reason I was a Josh Rosen guy because I thought that he was the most pro ready. I didn't want no more projects after EJ Manuel, but that's what the draft is about. It's about bringing in. I thought he was pro ready.
How y'all thought that? How?
I thought he was pro ready,
man. Was an injury waiting to happen. He was all hype in college. He was at Oregon. Let's be
UCLA. He was at UCLA.
Excuse me. He was at UCLA where all the pieces around him was hot boys. You know what I mean? So he caught the tail end of that. And when they played against the top teams, he didn't do anything. You got 2 ACL injuries. You just a spoiled brat from the suburbs of LA, and it showed in the league. You know what I mean? That man been to more teams, and man, he'd have been to more teams than everybody. Just about in 4 years.
For real.
One thing about Josh, I can say though, and to James' point, I mean, we need him to play like that. I want him to be himself. I want him to, have that swag, that dog. I want that out of my quarterback. I want that out of my 6'5", 245-pound quarterback that could run, that has a cannon. Do you know I've been wanting to have a quarterback like that in Little League for years, or even high school right now? You know what I mean? So to come in with those type of Cam Newton-like traits, I was sewn in on Josh coming out of the draft. Period. It was that or Lamar Jackson. But they was making him a game manager until Stephon Diggs came. Josh showed you that, I have the big arm. He been showed you that he can win the game in the clutch, but to control that, you gotta coach him better. That's pretty much what it is. Josh is not going to do hero ball stuff if we don't give Josh total control on where to go with the ball. Sometimes you have to manage him, and that's what they did this week. They game managed Josh Allen. He did turn the ball over, but he stayed within the game plan and he went to it early and often. They used the play action to help him. I mean, if you look at Josh, that's what he was supposed to be in the beginning. You know what I mean? He wasn't supposed to be this, okay, we're gonna put the game in your hands, thick and thin. He proved that he can do all of that. Now what he has to prove is, can he be a better game manager at quarterback? He did it against the Jets. The Jets are, one of the worst teams in the NFL. Can he do it against Indy? Can he manage the game and hold his water and be patient in taking what they're giving you, but be more effective and efficient while doing it? Don't turn the ball over. All right. So he managed the game well. You see, he only ran the ball twice, and those was really busted plays. I don't think those were really like design runs for him. You know what I mean? So if he has to manage the game now, because teams are not going to allow you to do what you did last year. So you have to manage it better. And that's the frustrating part. That's what's frustrating Josh now, because in zone coverage, he struggles with his progressions. You know what I mean? So you have to better manage him that way. And I think Coach Dable and Coach McDermott did a good job on getting him prepared on managing the Jets game. Didn't let it get too far away, because they did have a dry period, early in the first half where it was 10-zip for the longest. You know what I mean? So, and that, I think that comes along with coaching and play calling too. Josh can't allow him to do that if you're not giving him those type of play calls. So I think they did a better job of game planning and managing your quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, as the title says, he looked like the $258 million man that we got. And like I said, it's kind of crazy to try to think that every single game that the quarterback's going to come out and throw for 400 yards. It's not going to happen. But at the very least, you want to put a chance, give yourself a chance to win. And Josh does that week in and week out. It's not too many games I'm like, man, they really beat us down that game. And there hasn't been too many games like that in the last 2 years. But, neither here nor there. Josh had a good game. I want to move on. So a couple weeks, about 2 weeks ago, I had a chance to interview Bill's great Eric Moulds. And obviously, if you think anybody know about Moulds, man, it's tough to get an interview with Moulds. The dude's always on the move. He's always training. He's always doing something. So I was able to get an interview through my guys at Legend and Stars of a Batavian Dallas. I'm going to play a little quick snippet because they will be releasing probably by the end of this week. Didn't want to release it on the week of a loss because you know how y'all do, Bills Mafia. We take an L and y'all don't want nothing to do with the team. But we play this quick snippet, and then we're going to get to some bad takes in our last two topics of the night of development of not only Tyler Bass, he's the best kicker in NFL now, but Ed Oliver, Calvin Havoc. So we'll be right back after this snippet.
Now, I've asked you before online, who's the hardest cornerback that you used to go against?
All of them are pretty good, man. But, I played against Ty Law his whole career. For a decade, we went at each other for a long period of time. So I knew his game, he knew mine. And he said I was one of the tougher guys he had to guard. So it was one of those things that we had mutual respect. So I have to say him. And I played against Charles Woodson. I got to play against Dion. So I played against some guys that can play. And but I would have to say, because I played consistently against Ty Law, I have to say he was the better corner.
Right, that's my man Emo's talking about Ty Law being the hardest corner. That's we talked about a couple things. It's not a long interview, it's quick. But you guys definitely want to check that out. On this out, I'll post it on Cold Front Report and stuff like that. And you guys get tune in and check it out. So moving, a little snippet, a little snippet. Sometimes I get invited to nice things, I'm not just a podcaster from my mom's basement saying, hey, I know everything. Sometimes I actually do real things in real life. Just
Eric Moulds still look like he can go out there, man. Cook him a boy one-on-one with them guns.
Tight end the linebacker, man. I wouldn't want to take a hit from Eric. Eric big as hell, man. Cody says, is he big? Is it me or is he bigger than when he played? Now he's bigger than when he played, man.
Yeah, he definitely bigger than when he played.
Yeah, so, but no, moving on. Ed Oliver, man. Ed Oliver has been on a tear. Now, James, you've been preaching the praise of Ed Oliver since the summer, and you've been saying this was going to be a breakout year for the dude. A lot of people expecting a breakout year. But one of the things that we always talked about in the summer, and I remember you saying this, the reason people were kind of getting dissatisfied with Ed is because of the Aaron Donald comparisons, which raised the bar way too high, way too cookie for him. What is different between Ed Oliver the first 2 seasons and Ed Oliver now? James, what you got?
I mean, he's playing the 3 tech. He's a lot more comfortable. I mean, it's obvious. He's very, very comfortable. We out of Star being out, just dudes just not being productive. We had him playing the 1 technique last year, and that's just not what he is. He's a 285, 290 pounds. You're not going to be a productive 1 technique at that size, and he's 6'1". So 6'1", 6'2". So realistically, you're not going to be that's not a 1 tech nose tackle size. He's a disruptive, energetic 3 technique. That's what he is. People compared him to Aaron Donald because of his size, because he was undersized, and they're both really, really quick, strong dudes. But Aaron Donald, he's one of the best to ever do it. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. I think that was unfair to compare him. But Ed Oliver is a baller, man. That dude fly. If you watch him, his motor is crazy. And a lot of Bills fans, they like, it's like fantasy football for him. If you don't put up stats, they think you're playing bad. But you really got to watch the film and watch how productive he is. Sometimes he eats up 2 blockers. Sometimes he's disruptive. He may get penetration and force the running back to redirect. He does a lot of things that don't pop up on the stat sheet. And that dude is showing that he's a baller and why he was one of the best defensive players coming out to draft that year. And, man, he's a very, very, very valuable piece to that number 1 defense that we got.
Yeah. Mook, what you got, man? As I call him, the Texas Tornado, the Cowboy.
I mean, I don't think it's unfair to give Ed Oliver that comparison to Aaron Donald. I mean, I get it. He is a generational talent, but you got to compare him to somebody. I mean, like, for instance, quarterbacks coming out right now are being compared to Josh Allen. You know? So, I mean, it's just that when is he going to tap into that potential? And, and that's where it gets unfair because we expect, that to be Aaron Donald like soon as he got drafted. And, the NFL is the NFL for a reason. These guys are grown men. All right. You don't care who you are, if you're not refined. First of all, like James said, he's an undersized guy. So you playing up against these all-pro guards and these veteran guards that's seasoned, and, you're going to have your struggles, at times. Sophomore season, no Star Lotulelei. That was a guy that, helped you play one-on-one. Other guys that you had alongside of you, Vernon Butler, Harrison Phillips, and, it just don't pan out. But this year 3 is always when you really see where your investment is. Year 3, everything, it gets slow. The game gets slow. Your technique and your fundamentals are way more better and quicker and sound than probably your opponent at that point, or it's just something what it is. It's just like The Last Dragon, you know what I mean? When Bruce Lee you just get that glow on you, and then all of a sudden you just can't be stopped, right? You know what I mean? So that's just like going on with Ed Oliver. He got that glow about him, and he's turning into that twitchy monster that we been waiting to see since him coming out of Houston. So if he keeps that up, he can be all pro, and the Aaron Donald comparisons would obviously stick. So right now he's playing ball at a high level. I asked Coach Frazier about him, and he's loved the way that Ed Oliver is playing right now. He's just how disruptive he is. Like you said, James, is they're not showing on the stat board, but he's very effective and disruptive. Within that Bills defensive front. He's really holding it down, to be quite honest. On that defensive front, especially when they need on 3rd down or second and long. Just that in that Jets game alone, he stood out up front. So, we need more of that.
All right. How And James, I got a question for you because we talked about the 1 tech and 3 tech. Now, last season, we know he got put in more 1 tech situations than we ever probably would prefer him to be in. How much of that is he benefiting from that now, being forced to take on double teams last year? And obviously, some people said it was a struggle, but like I said, 285 pounds, you don't want that man taking on those doubles. But now, getting the one-on-one matches with Starla Tulele back next to you, and we're reaping the benefits. How much was the benefit of that?
Oh man, big time. Because now you appreciate one-on-one battles. You're like, oh man, this is nothing compared to having to deal with 2 325-pound dudes. Give me this one dude and let me work. Let's get it in. Let's play in this phone booth, and I'm coming out the winner. I think that all of that was just, it's going to be beneficial down the line. People are really going to see it down the line in his development. Even though he is undersized, that dude is strong, boy. Watch how he just blow people up during the game. If people just watch about 10 plays of just Ed Oliver during the game fast, and you'll see that dude get his hands. He's not a grown man. He's a grown ass man. And he just takes people and he just literally reset the line of scrimmage. He's pushing them straight back. He's just straight bully ball with them. And man, that's what you want, man. And that is so beneficial that he was able to play one technique a lot last season, the 2020 season, because now, man, the one-on-ones is nothing to him.
Thing too, for your point with that Aaron Donald comparison. Aaron Donald, a lot of his sacks come off the edge, off the defensive end too. They don't put that out of road.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So maybe if you had a package, just have Ed Oliver come off the edge one-on-one against a tackle. Man, never know. You know what I mean? I try
Worth the shot, yeah.
They do it to Aaron Donald. If he's going to have those comparisons, I'm going to play him as such. So, maybe, I don't know.
Take some comments from the chat before we get ready for everybody's favorite segment, Bad Takes. Let's see here. Cindy Martini Jackson says 91 is in a third-year glow-up time. Cody Wells says people should make the comparison, Aaron Donald, because that man is a generational player. Will go down possibly the best to ever do it. I think we answered that for you. David Smith disagrees, though. He says Ed Oliver being compared to Aaron Donald is a positive because it's an indication of talent.
Right.
And our man Jake Hutland Holton says, how about AJ Klein? AJ Klein play a hell of a game. He looked a lot better at middle linebacker than he did outside linebacker last year. Right.
He's very comfortable where he needs to be at stack backer. I asked Coach Frazier about that too. I mean, he can hold it down if Milano is out, but we know there's some flaws when he's trying to be Matt Milano. But he is one hell of a Tremaine Savage, other than he's not being 6'6". Bad. That's how we need. That's AJ Klein all day in the middle. Middle linebacker, that's him. He played that.
Not a dude I want to get hit by.
Yeah, you definitely want. Ask Russell Wilson.
Yeah, man. Not a dude I want to get hit by, man. He bringing the pain. He reminds me of the dude Danny from The Replacements, the linebacker, crazy ass linebacker that was a cop, man, just hitting everybody.
No, you know who he reminds you of? He reminds you of Dan Morgan. That was here. Yeah. That went back to Carolina. He reminds you of Dan Morgan.
Well, he came in right after Dan Morgan in Carolina, didn't he?
He may have, but I know Dan Morgan.
Dan just left last year, so Dan brought him in.
No. I mean, when Dan Morgan left the Panthers, he came in not too long after Dan Morgan. He was
at the Panthers, Yeah.
So I know we gonna start getting some guests lined up for this show too. Like I said, I let it get Ed Oliver on here. We gonna start getting some guests lined up.
I gotta hit my man Dan Morgan up too, man. I gotta hit man up.
Yeah, start getting some of these guys in the locker room with us, man. But moving on. You guys know what time it is. We're way past 20 minutes in the show, but that's what happens when you have a good conversation. You have a good time to start talking. That's why it's Tuesday touchdown. But it's time for this week's Bad Takes. And if you weren't watching the show earlier, I said that we did something a little different this week. This week, we actually went and got some bad takes from the Jets. So,
oh boy,
we're gonna start off with first bad take of the night because, like I said, it is that time. Here we go. Bad take number one. This is a take from somebody in Bills Mafia. Stop calling us Mafia. It's a bleeping ridiculous name. The F word. Why? This is what we are. We're the Mafia. We are. That's what we are. Come on now. Don't do that. Don't do that. Bad take number 2. I mean, we the Bills have picked the name up and everything. You gonna do all the Mafia again? You gonna say don't call us now? It's too late for that. We even got a Benny the Butcher song called the Mafia. Too late. Bad take number 2. This is from Stephon Diggs' pregame picture. Diggs' girlfriend must have taken his pants and left hers for him at this hotel. Come on now. Come on now. Steph, I like Steph's dress style, man. It's bold. It's very bold. Okay. Bad take number 3. The way they've been playing the past few games, the only thing they're gonna beat is their meat. That was before the Jets game. That was pregame for the Jets game. That is awful to say. I mean, come on, man. Well,
they
beat
was
up
going
the
in before the game. Damn.
Yeah, they was going in. They told you, man. People was mad about that Jacksonville loss. They was mad for quite a while, man.
Yeah, some
bad take number.
behind that.
Yeah, bad take number 4. Now we get into the Jets page. Mike White turned into Sam Darnold and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Zach Wilson. I don't know what those emojis, what curse words emojis stand for, but they was very unhappy in New York. Bad take number 5. Also for the Jets page. This guy sucks and talk about Coach Robert Saleh. We were competitive under that clown Gase. Come on. Gase?
They going in.
He's not even coaching the NFL no more.
Right.
You heard what Rex Ryan said about him.
Right. Come on, man. Don't compare him to Gase. I'm not even a Jets fan. Don't do that yet. And bad take, final take. Drum roll, please, James. The one-shot wonder Tim Tebow trade destroyed the Jets franchise. We're cursed. The curse of Tim Tebow.
The curse of Tim Tebow is live in New Jersey.
You're right. That is the problem with the Jets. It is the curse of Tim Tebow.
They want to put the curse on it.
But that is your bad take segment of the week. Thank you guys tuning into that. But hey, this is what we do every week, man. We're gonna find some stuff. And actually, our friend Sydney Martini actually sent me a bad take. It was kind of like I couldn't get it on tonight, but I appreciate you guys. And if you guys are ever watching and you guys ever see something, please screenshot something, send it to me, and I will definitely get on the show if it's worthy. But final topic of the night. I want to end it on this note. We got the swaggiest kicker in the league, and our guy Tyler Bass. And he has slowly turned into, I think, possibly the best kicker in the NFL. He's even more consistent than Justin Tucker at this point. James, I'm going to come to you first because I know how high you are on Tyler Bass. And you asked a question in our Cold Front Report group chat today. Would you rather Tyler Bass or Wyatt Teller at this point? Which is, I think, is a very sneaky question.
It's a legitimate question. Why? Because I believe, JT, if I'm right, the trade for Wyatt Teller turned into the Tyler Bass pick, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I just asked the question to people. Who would you rather have right now, Tyler Bass or Wyatt Teller? To me, I think it's a no-brainer. Tyler Bass. You can win with a below-average right guard, but if you got a kicker that's, I mean, especially when the extra points are 35 yards now, if you got dudes missing them, I mean, that becomes a problem. People take those extra points for granted. That becomes a problem. I mean, a major problem. And then, I mean, when you're not confident with taking 50-yard field goals, and then now you're going for it on 4th and 2s, 4th and 3s because you're not confident. Your kicker making a 50-yard field goal. Now you got a problem. That snowballs into a really big problem. But Tyler Bass, man, that dude, Tyler Bass money, not cash money. It's Tyler Bass money. That's what I call him internally for me. He's money in the bank. I like him, man. I mean, people was really, really, really tough on him last year when he had a rough start the first couple games. But man, he's really came around. You could tell he was a little nervous. He's got comfortable, and this dude has a leg on him. Hopefully he's here for another 20 years, literally another 20. But he's a secret weapon for the Bills, and man, don't take him for granted.
Tyler Bass.
Man. The eye of the Tyler.
Eye of the Tyler.
Second amongst all kickers in points. Second among kickers as far as points. Only missed one field goal. He's 29 for 29 on extra points, 19 for 20 for field goals. He is 10 for 10 for field goals anywhere between 20 to 29 yards, 7 for 7 anywhere between 30 and 39 yards, 3 for 3 from 40 and 49 yards, 2 for 3 for 50 plus. Okay, that's a guy that I want to have on my team. And mention he's kicking touchbacks every time your team goes out there. So if I'm a special teams guy, I'm loving Tyler Bass because I'm just running down there for conditioning. I ain't got to go make no tackles, none of that. He's kicking that thing out of the park. So, hell yeah, we'd love to have a guy like Tyler Bass on my team over Wyatt Teller. Even though Wyatt Teller was a monster, I think that the Bills stole him and didn't think that he would become who he became, but it kind of made me feel like they could have got some more for him. Like, he was a definitely steal for Cleveland because the Bills didn't really get that much value from him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you go and do it again, I'm quite sure, you get a higher draft pick. We probably won't get Tyler Bass, but, I guess it worked out.
And where Buffalo picked Tyler Bass, you can tell that they circled him. They had a priority. What we pick him in the 5th round? Was it 6th round? 6th round, right? 5th round?
5th, I think.
5th round we picked him. So you know that the Bills had him circled because it's rare for kickers to get drafted. We're seeing it more and more nowadays as we get more and deeper into football because obviously the kickers are losing games. But I have to go with if you gave me a choice, I would have to go with Tyler Bass. If you gave me a choice of Bass or Wyatt Teller. And people are going to say, well, the guard. I mean, I'm a firm believer in if you have a good left tackle, a good right tackle, and a solid center, you can almost throw anybody at guard and get away with a good game plan. It's just that right now, the last couple of weeks we've seen, we didn't really have that right tackle position shored up in the run game with Spencer Brown and switch with Darrell Williams, and we had a mess at both guard spots. So that's totally different. Plus, you gotta realize too, Wyatt Teller was here. He's already admitted to himself. He already admitted publicly that he didn't take the Bills. He didn't take his time with the Bills seriously. He didn't work hard enough. He didn't practice hard enough. He didn't study the playbook hard enough. And that's one of the reasons he's in the doghouse. I know a lot of us were always wondering when he was here, why is this cat always in the doghouse? Why ain't he getting no burn? Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was a point in time when they were paying it was to the point where you think if they'll play Vlad Dukas, why won't they play Wyatt Teller? And
you
now
have nightmares. Come on, JT.
Well, I'm just saying, we were playing Vlad Dukas. So it came out to this is why. So he admitted that. He obviously the trade to Cleveland humbled him. He's turned into an all-pro. Congratulations. I'm happy for the guy, but I am equally happy to have Tyler Bass because anybody, and this is no disrespect to Stephen Hauschka, but Stephen Hauschka's last year and a half, we couldn't even attempt the field goal with any type of win at 50 yards. Some field goal games we couldn't attempt the 49 or 48-yard field goal. And if we did, it was shaky as hell. Bass,
well,
I'm like,
I don't know. We would have. I think if we kicked that field goal in Houston, we win that game. But they never gave him an opportunity. I asked him too. I caught up with him with the Super Bowl. I had asked. I'm like, yo, was you ready to kick a 48-yard field goal, man? Why didn't you kick that damn field goal? He shook his head. He's like, man, I know I was ready to do it. I was ready. I think he could have did it because it was no win. It was indoor. So I didn't want to go back there. But they learned from that, and kind of a big leg kicker. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's not going to go anywhere. He'll be here for the rest of his career.
Well, and that's the thing. Like that's it. I love Steve Hauschka. Like I said, don't get me wrong. Hauschka was a gem here for some years. That was one of our best free agent signings of this regime. And in that year, we made the playoffs the first season at Tennessee. Hauschka hit a lot of big kicks, and he was hitting kicks from over 50. Now I know the hit from dirty ass Henry Anderson changed a lot with him. And Henry Anderson and his wife still have me blocked on Twitter, and fine, because if you didn't, I'd still be talking about you. because I'm sorry, the dude's a dirt. I put it out, clip it up. Dude's a dirtbag. He's a dirty football player, and I think he did end the man's career. Hauschka was never the same after that hit, but unfortunately, it's a business, and that can be a part of it. As unfortunate it is from dirty scumbags like Henry Anderson. But end of the day, we couldn't attempt those field goals. And going back to your point, like, yeah, he said he was ready, but for the coaching staff not even to have the confidence to kick that goes to show, like, now we'll try Tyler Bass out here for a 57-yarder and be like, cool, go kick it. 59 yards, go kick it. Oh, it's halftime, 61-yarder? Hell, go try it. And so I'm happy as hell to have Tyler Bass. Like I said, I'm a big Tyler Bass guy. I think he adds that swag to this team too. You know, I'm good friends with Marquette King. Now, he don't go overboard like Marquette went, but it's nice to see excitement from your kicker or your punter at times. Because at the end of the day, you still are a football player. No matter what. You're still a football player. But, you know, in the day, I think the whole panel, we all say, yeah, we love Wyatt Teller. I love that he's coming through in Cleveland, but I love Tyler Bass, man. I love Tyler Bass. Vinatieri won what? How many Super Bowls for the Patriots? 2, 3?
Ooh.
Just saying, man.
Kicker is very, very valuable.
Probably more than that.
Weapon.
Yeah, Super Bowls.
Yeah, they had no problem getting rid of Logan Mankins, keeping that inventory. I'm just saying. They kept on winning. But hey, I want to thank my guys for coming on to the locker room tonight. James Mallory, Muki Hawkins. You can probably catch. Actually, next Tuesday I gotta work, so I'm not gonna be here. So I gotta figure something out. I'm gonna do it later in the week. It's gonna be Thanksgiving week. Maybe I'll do something Saturday. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. It's gonna be a little alternate schedule, man. Y'all know me. I work in retail, so it's crazy right now. It's crazy. We're gonna figure something out. But I want to thank you guys for coming in tonight. Any what you guys got going on? James, got anything new? What's up? What's going on?
Nothing too much, man. It's all let's put some shine on Muki, man. With Maritime Health Science, man. Them boys went there and won at the Ralph 3-peat. Want to congratulate y'all, Muki, man. That's a major accomplishment. Man, put the light on Muki, man. This daytime, man. This daytime.
Hey, what's up this Maritime? What's this 3 time? What is this?
Well, kind of this off because, you know, Maritime Health Science, you know, they won back-to-back Class B finals. Last year you couldn't advance because of COVID, but they still won. They was ranked number 1 and we were ranked 14. And I don't think Health Science ever lost to anybody in Class B. Like, everybody got like a 20-game winning streak. And this team that we beat last year in Class B final was number 1. I mean, okay, and you want to find a reason to motivate us, you did. All right, we put up a high mark scoring record with 62 points. So we beat the number 1 team in the state, 62-12. So, you know, we playing good at the right time. We playing good late in the season, late in November. That's where you want. And, you know, right now, you know, we could be on to something special. We played a regional final this Saturday at Williamsville South versus Batavia. Another tough opponent, but, you know, we'll be up for the challenge, man. So come on out, check us out 3:00. You know, come see this show. You know, we running that ball. You know, if they want to know how to run the ball, we are running the rock. You know, we ran for over 500 yards last week, and the week before, we had one of our running backs go over 300 yards. This week, we ran for, I think, 400. He had 272 on the ground by himself to go along. So, yeah, we running that rock. So, if Dable, you want to know how to, you know, get that ground game going, come holler at your boy.
All right. Well, like I said, I don't have a rant this week, man. I ain't got nothing to rant on this week. So, pretty much will end it, man. But like I said, everybody, thank you for tuning into your Tuesday touchdown. You know, I am your host, JT. This is nothing personal, just Bills. Thanks to my guys in the locker room, Muki Hawkins, both for today. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Make sure you're getting James on Twitter. And hopefully we start getting these Twitter spaces popping, man. I hear a lot of people on Twitter spaces, but I'm not seeing a lot from Bills Mafia on Twitter spaces. So, man, we got to start setting that off a little bit here. And always say to Bart Upchurch, he's a coach. He's a coach. So I just want to say thank you guys for coming in tonight, and make sure that you guys stay tuned on check into the Code for YouTube, because That interview with Eric Moulds we're releasing this week. I think we got one with Hall of Famer Joe DeLamalore releasing, and we also have a bunch of fan interviews, which is actually pretty fun. From Batavia Downs Legends of Stars event a couple weeks back. So some of those will be time stamped a little bit. So you got, but when people talk about the Bills. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I am your host JT, and I will catch y'all next time. If I don't see y'all before the holidays, everybody have a happy and safe Thanksgiving with your loved ones. Cut some turkey and let's cut up some Saints if you don't see me. Catch you later. Peace.